Just watch this, and then tell me what is being marketed. By the way, it is music, so if you believe music is haram, I'm sorry.
This one a crazy guy in charge?
What's being marketed? What are they marketing? What are they marketing? What are they advertising?
The arms, the car arms,
The car, I think.
car
So
arms.
they're marketing Chevrolet the car. The whole purpose of this is to market the car. It's a brand new car. This is a band called OK Go. And they always do crazy kind of music videos. And if you'll notice, what do you see? The brand. Would you drive your car like this if it was brand new? Of course not. But does it look fun? Does it look fun to be driving off-road, singing and making music? Of course it does. Also, what does it show you about the car? They're pounding on it. They're driving exactly. This is marketing. Okay? This is why I love marketing, because we see things like this. I got another one that will blow your socks off, and we'll see it after lunch. Okay? Now, Unit 2. Fast and Furious. Nah, we don't have enough time. But Fast and Furious also is all marketing. I mean, Transformers
All movies.
are now, their marketing is a huge part of them because they're showing them off. Transformers is a perfect example. It's for the brand Chevrolet. And all of the bad guys, the Decepticons, their cars look like the brand Ford.
Oh, so always the
Uh-huh.
Aston Martin.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Unit 2. Now, here's what you need to understand. The slides that they've given you look slightly different, but the content is the same. All right, so now we're talking about the environment and marketing analysis. Again, the prophet of marketing, Kotler. And he says the environment is presenting new opportunities and threats. All right, now, skipping the objectives, we don't need them. Oh, We're talking about the micro environment and the macro environment. So for the new students, pay attention. For the old students, what analysis do we do for the micro environment inside the company? SWOT. SWOT. Which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, in the exam, only MCQ questions come from SWOT and PESTEL. You don't have to have any answers for the essay questions from this unit, but we're going to go over it anyways because they're MCQs. And the new students, SWOT and PESTEL, you will have to know because you will use them for the rest of the classes. Am I right or am I wrong, guys? Pretty much they're discussed in every class. So, in microenvironment, this is inside of the organization. It deals with the partners, customers, competitors, and people directly involved. Here's a vocabulary term. Stakeholders. And stakeholders are anybody directly involved in the company. Okay? Also, and so it looks kind of like this. Wait a minute, let me think. It does say hint. I'm trying to think if there is an essay question. I don't think there is. But this is more for our knowledge. So, marketing management, this is you. You're in your little office. Around you in the micro management is everybody involved directly in your company. Outside of that is the macro environment. So, when we talk about the micro environment, it's almost always SWOT. Macro environment is PESTEL. Political, economic, sociocultural, and technical, environmental, and legal. All right, so micro. This is all of the different departments in your organization. Everybody's interrelated. Hopefully your company's working together, but let's be very honest. In most companies, is everybody looking out for the benefit of the company, or are they looking out for their personal benefit? Their personal benefit. So you might have a great idea and go to the head of finance and be like, this will save the company millions. And if that person doesn't like you, get out. Just being honest about it because that's what happens. Now, SWOT, here we go. Strengths, which is internal and positive. By the way, I didn't write the multiple choice questions. They come from Switzerland. And you are asked on the MCQs, I know this for a fact, about things like, is it internal positive, internal negative, external positive, external negative. Here's what we mean, internal, inside of the company. Is it a good thing inside the company? That's internal positive. Internal negative, that would be weaknesses. Opportunities, external positive. Threats, outside of the company, external negative. And, yeah, so you need to know that for the MCQs. We also have to deal with marketing intermediaries, somebody between our production company and the consumers getting it. Good morning, welcome. I know, it's Thursday night. All right, so what often happens is the manufacturer makes it, the retailer gets it, and then finally gets to the consumer. What we need to understand is there's 4 types of intermediaries. Do you notice there's no hint on this? There's no essay question, but there are MCQ questions. So the basic idea, we got 4 groups that get between the manufacturer and the consumer. 1, the reseller. Manufacturer makes it, reseller buys it. 2, resell it and make a profit. Physical distribution firms. We make it, we send it to a group, and they worry about getting it to our people. Marketing and service agencies. This is an agency, this whole purpose is marketing for you. You have the product, but their whole job is contacting and giving you clients. And last, financial intermediaries. This is generally banks. You want to buy a new villa. How much do you, I don't know in dinar, but I'll use dirham because I'm from the UAE. If I want to buy a villa, 6 million, 8 million dirham. Yes, I carry that in my wallet all the time. Here you go. Do you carry that kind of money? No. Of course not. Because you don't carry that kind of money, you use an intermediary, which is the bank. They have that kind of money, and then you pay them their profit rate. All right? Those are our resellers. In the micro environment, we also deal with our customers. Who buys from us? We get the direct customers. We get the business-to-business customers. We get, yeah. Yes. Huh? Well, you put that as part of your company because they're actually, to be honest, customers are stakeholders. They're primary stakeholders. These are the people that you are directly interacting with. And because of that, we call that part of the microanalysis. So it's your company and who your company directly deals with is micro. But it's not every, well, nowadays actually it is because we're in a global economy. But primarily what this means is customers who walk in your door. Walk into your company. Instead of somebody on the internet who's in China. Now, that person who's on the internet in China still is going to be part micro, but also part macro. Because it's a good question actually, and I want to clarify with everybody, so guys focus real quick. He's asking about the customer. We live in an age where you have customers who live in China, customers who live in South America. When this was originally made in the 1960s, it meant customers who walked in your door. But now, customers can be both micro and macro. Because a customer that walks in your door is going to be micro. He's physically with you. But a customer in, say, China is going to be macro. Because he is affected by the laws and the politics and everything else in the area. So in that sense, customers kind of fit in both. But in general, it's micro because it's within your company or directly impacting your company. Okay? That's a very good question, though. All right? We also have the government who buys it. We have the resale markets for used cars. And we have the international markets for abroad. But that's the one that's kind of pestle at the same time. Competitors are also things that we have to deal with. Please notice, hint, you might be asked on the exam to talk about how SWOT and PESTLE do come together and how your competitors fit into this. Because your competitors are also part of your direct competitors, are part of the microanalysis. Okay? Now, we have to have strategic advantage, something that makes us different to make us stand out so that we make our money. And that's what we're talking about. So the example, it used to be in the Chiefly classes, they had to write the paper. And the paper that they had to write was about Qantas Airlines. But thinking about airlines, let's use Emirates Airlines, just because I'm from the UAE and I like Emirates. Who are their direct competitors? Well, all right, hold on. Qatar Airways, I'll agree. Fly Dubai, is Fly Dubai a direct competitor? No. Just who offers similar services? So Fly Dubai isn't international. They only fly, well, it is international, but it's not. Yeah, the higher level, which would be Qatar Airways, maybe Turkish Airways, British Airways, Lufthansa. Those guys are direct competitors. So those are examples. So they have to set themselves up to be different from each other. Price is one of the ways they do it. The other one in airlines is space. Right now in the United States, 3 major U.S. air companies are complaining, saying that Emirates, Qatar, and Etihad Airways are getting benefits from their governments. Yeah. And they're trying to get their trade agreements changed. And the reply from Emirates Airlines is brilliant. I love it. Tim Cook, who's the CEO, he said, stop whining. Stop complaining. We have better service, we have more space, and people are willing to pay for it. Brilliant. He could very well be wrong, but I loved his reply. Stop whining. Give the people good service, and you'll get a competitive advantage. Okay? Now, we have 3 types of competitors. Direct. These are people that offer the same or similar services. We have indirect. This is somebody that is slightly different. This is where I would say Emirates and Fly Dubai. Both of them have short routes, but Fly Dubai doesn't offer the same long routes. So I could do a bunch of little flights, Fly Dubai to one of their places, and then another small little carrier to another place, and have like 3 flights to make the same distance in the same location that Emirates has. That would be an indirect competitor. So they're slightly different. And then we have potential competitors. This is people that could appear in the future and be either direct or indirect. thinking about airlines, what are potential competitors that they could run into? What are other services that could offer the same ability to travel distances? So you have airplanes. How else can you travel from Kuwait to Los Angeles? You can fly in on a jet. What else? You can go by boat. You could have a combination of them. Blimps and zeppelins, the big, slow moving. I have a friend that wants to make a company that does air travel using the blimp. Now, just imagine how slow that would be. But he says it'd be half the price. So would you pay half the price to get from here to New York, but it'd take you 5 days? Some people would if it's half the price. This is the interesting kind of trade-off that we're looking at. Okay, or same thing on a boat. It takes 6 days, I think, to get from Kuwait to New York City on a container. And there are people that are willing to do it and travel that way. Or just now, they launched the first solar-powered airplane out of Dubai like 3 days ago. No fuel, just solar panels. And they flew from Dubai to Oman, and they've flown from Oman to India, and they're going from India to China. They're going to go all the way around the world on an aircraft that's only powered by the sun. Is that, in the future, a potential competitor to Emirates? Yeah. The number one cost for an airline is fuel. So if I can have a company that doesn't ever have to pay for fuel, my prices will be lower. Now it's slower, but if I told you the price is 30% of what Emirates charges, but it will take you 2 days. 30%? That's too much? That's pretty cheap though. Okay? So this is what we're talking about here. Now, this also includes the public that is in the area. So if I open an oil company in Kuwait, the people around my refinery are part of the microanalysis. They have to deal with it. This is the public. So this is the people who live near me. This is the people I interact with. This includes the banks, the newspapers, governments, all of that. All right? It says hint, but not really. This isn't an essay question. All right? The big one is this. Hint! When asked about stakeholders, you need to be able to differentiate between primary stakeholders, secondary stakeholders. Primary, again, means directly impacted by your company. So that's people who work for you. That's people who you do business with. Customers, business partners, where it's located, and then the environment in the area. So if I am a gasoline company and I am spilling petrol on the ground, that land will be poisoned. That is a primary stakeholder. Secondary stakeholders are everybody else that's not directly involved with my company. So this is the rules from the country or from the government. So think of this as the neighborhood. Think of this as from the government of the whole country. And that helps you remember them, okay? Now, that was micro. Macro. Custom. Macro analysis. You're looking at the big picture. Dealing with where you do business, which starts with political. What is the political environment like where you're doing business? What kind of laws? How stable is the government? What is the tax situation? So for example, you own a business. Do you want to have that business operating right now in Syria? Why? It's incredibly unstable. Your workers could be kidnapped. You could have people killed. Your businesses could be bombed. Even though you're Muslim. Doesn't matter. It's still fighting with each other. Very unstable. You don't want to be there. Okay? Economically, what is the economics like? Right now is a fantastic time to open a business. Why? 2007. That's why. 2007 came along. What happened to the economy? Everybody lost their job. Tons of businesses closed. Nobody could afford real estate. It's 2014, 2015. What's happened? There's been a lot of recovery. There's a lot of really cheap real estate that in 2007 was like 3 times the price it is now. Well, except in Kuwait and Dubai. I'll be honest with you, even there. But even there, you can still find a good deal. What's interesting is the GCC countries weren't hit as hard as most of the other countries in the world. Why? Oil. The GCC countries have something the rest of the world needs, wants, and demands. So that meant that people that were here that had businesses that were dealt directly with oil and gas, they were okay. In fact, actually now in Kuwait and in the region, more importantly than 2007, the oil price has dropped to like in half. So now, actually in the GCC, now's when you start seeing people with businesses that are getting...
But the real estate is still, prices
Yeah.
are going. So
Well, that's because... And those prices will have to adjust. But it becomes when and where. But now is probably one of the best times globally to open a business. Because a lot of the competitors from 2007 to 2014 have shut down. Because the economy wasn't right. They couldn't make enough profit. So there are huge holes and openings in the gaps for where you can do business. All right? This is what I was meaning with that. Now, we're talking about here also in the 80s, we had a bunch of people that spent a lot of money. In the 90s, you had a bunch of people that lost a lot of money. 2000s, you had people that made a lot of money. 2007, people lost a lot of money. So you need to pay attention to the worldwide economics as well as the economics in the region. That's what we need to come out of economics for the hint. Okay? Sociocultural. What group are you dealing with? This deals with the society and the culture that you're interacting with. You need to know it. I will give you a perfect example. This. If I do this, what does it say in the West? V for victory. Yay! If I do this in Australia, it means the same thing as if I show you this. Oops. Sociocultural. First time I was ever in the Middle East, where was I? I was in, wow, that was a long time ago. I was visiting a friend in Saudi. And he said, hey, come with me to mosque. We'll go to mosque, we'll go to lunch. Okay, no problem. We get there, he stops at the outside, and he's like, I'll be right in. Oh, okay. And I just walked in. I'm not Muslim, but I'm very interested in religious beliefs and religious structures. What did I still have on my feet? My shoes. And I stopped at 2 steps in. What do you think you're doing? He said to come in. Take your shoes off. There's no sign. I'm sorry. I don't want to get it dirty. I'm not Muslim. I wasn't raised knowing that I take my shoes off and I wash my feet and I come in clean. I'm a stupid white Western guy who's thinking, wow, this is pretty. Social culture. Actually, I got a picture I'm going to put up in social culture. So give me just a second. And this also talks about culture. I love this cartoon. Whoops, that disconnected. Don't disconnect. I'm back on. You see this? What are they thinking? The same thing. The woman from America is looking at the woman from the Middle East, and what's she think? Oh, it's so horrible. The Middle East treats the women here so horrible, they make you ladies cover up because it's a male-dominated culture. Now, my ladies in class, what would you tell a Western woman? I don't cover because the men here demand me to cover. I cover because it's respect for my faith. Right? It's a choice. And yet, often when you look at Western women who wear that or less, what do you ladies think? Oh, nothing covered but her eyes. What a cruel male-dominated culture that demands that she show herself off. This is how culture we don't know about each other. We aren't sure about each other. Another great statement. When I moved to Dubai, I love this. My mom has a university degree. She has a bachelor's degree. We were living in Japan. So we're in Japan, and oops, let me go back. We get a job offer to come work in Dubai. And I'm like, Mom, we got a really great job offer to move to Dubai. We're going to move there, me, my wife, and our 3 kids. Oh, that's nice. Where's Dubai? Oh, it's in the UAE. Oh, okay, it's fabulous. Hey, what does UAE stand for? Oh, the United Arab Emirates. Arabs? Arabs? They'll cut off your head. My mom has a bachelor's degree. She's an educated woman. She literally believed that if I went to Dubai, there would be people there that would put me on my knees and cut off my head. And I guess she thought these people walked in the streets. What? For 2 years, I call my mom every 2 weeks. For 2 years. Oh, thank God you're still alive.
Not every day, every hour.
I guess it's. But this becomes the idea. Understand something. We don't understand each other. Muslims do not understand Christians, at least, or Muslims in the Middle East do not understand Americans in the West, and vice versa. That's why my country has been stupid and been in the Middle East for 18 years now. Well, actually, 2001, so 14 years. We've caused millions of deaths, millions of people, because we're stupid and we're ignorant. So when we're doing business, we need to know the culture that we're going to. So if I showed up here and I'm doing this, it's not a big deal. I turn it around and do this. That's the British version of the middle one. I go to jail. In America, when you're driving on the road, you will show each other the middle finger. Up yours! Yeah! I do that in Dubai, I'm arrested. Because culturally, we don't know. So we have to pay attention to the culture. We also need to pay attention now to the age and demographics of the people that we're dealing with. There are more young people than old people. It's important to know this information. So this ties into it. So this is the idea of norms and values. Norms are what is expected of the culture. That's washing my feet before I go into the mosque. That is the age of marriage. That is how marriage is defined. This is the accepted behavior. When you go into a bathroom, guys, to go pee, you walk up to the stall. Do you turn and look at the guy next to you? Hi. How you doing? How's your day been? Do you do that? No, why not? Because he'll probably punch you in the face and be like, leave me alone. Now, I've been told, ladies, when you're in the bathroom, you chat with each other. When guys walk in the bathroom, we pretend there's nobody else there. We don't even look at another man. Yep. Then you come out and then you talk. Sociocultural, very different. Or my favorite one, holding hands. Men holding hands. In this culture, what does it mean if a man holds another man's hand? In this culture, really? No, it means you're friends. You hold hands, you walk wrong. No big deal. You do that in America, that's when it's they're gay. When the last king of Saudi Arabia, the guy who just died, when he went to visit George Bush in the White House, he gets off of the helicopter, he comes up, they take hands, and they're walking. There were American newspapers that said, King of Saudi Arabia is gay. Norms, values, cultures. If you want to see norms in action, go into the mall, get on an elevator. What do you do when you get on the elevator? You walk on, and then what do? You turn around, and you face the door. If you want to see people freak out, full elevator, get on and just step in like this and stand there staring at them. Brilliant. It makes everybody go. Because you're not, the norm says what you're supposed to do. Now, here's the issue about beliefs and values. This isn't really one of the hints that we got to talk about, but we just need to know it. Your core beliefs are things that you were raised knowing. Things that you were raised and being told, this is right, this is wrong. So generally, a good example is religion. Okay? You're often raised in the same religion of your parents. Your dad goes to mosque, your mom goes and prays, you go to mosque, you go and pray. Changing those beliefs is very, very hard to do. So if any of you decided, I want to be Christian tomorrow, Would it be easy to do? First of all, let's throw out the issue of it's haram, and in some places could actually get you killed. Let's throw that out. Just could you wake up tomorrow and say, "Yeah, I'm Christian now"? Would it be easy or hard? It'd be hard to do, even if you really wanted to change, because you've grown up believing this. My mother grew up believing that black people were less than white people. My mother, the same college-educated woman, grew up believing that black people were, and I quote, monkeys. You're not a monkey, sir. You're an intelligent, smart man. But that was my mother. That's what she grew up believing. It has taken 40 years for her to realize calling a black man monkey is a bad idea. 40 years. That's the way she grew up. So we're talking about things like racism. Those are issues. Those are core beliefs that have come about from when you were a child. Now, secondary beliefs get formed by the people around you, and they can change. Things like smoking. When you people in here who smoke, when you started smoking, how old were you? 15? 16? What'd you think? Who cares? If you smoke now, I guarantee you know that it will kill you. Right? Right? Am I right or wrong? And that can cause you to change your behavior. I should probably cut down on this. I should probably stop doing this. It's bad for me. Okay? Now, technological. This is the most dramatic force shaping our world. This is amazing if you think about how much technology has changed our life in just our lifetime. 20 years. I got a story to tell you, because I like telling stories. My great-great-grandfather, when he was 20 years old, he was living in Michigan, United States, and he wanted a wife. 20 years old. There were no good, he was an Irishman, by the way, and he wanted an Irish wife. There were no nice Irish women living in America. So he wrote a letter to his priest in Ireland. And it said, "Hello, Father O'Malley. I'm looking for a wife. Do you know any available Irish women who are God-fearing, who would make good wives?" It took 3 months for the letter to get to the priest. The priest writes back, Daniel, it's good to hear from you, lad. Yes, in fact, I know a perfect girl for you. I'll send you her address with this letter. Her name is Maggie O'Shea. It took three months for that letter to get back to my great-grandfather. 6 months. My great-grandfather writes Maggie O'Shea. Maggie O'Shea's mother. "Dear Mrs. O'Shea, my name is Daniel. I'm a good, God-fearing Irishman living in America, making a very good wage. I am looking for a good Irish bride. She must be God-fearing, educated, and able to cook. I understand your daughter is of age. May I contact her?" The letter from my great-great-grandmother's mother comes back. "Yes, Mr. Daniel, you may contact me, daughter." So, 3 months to write the priest. The priest writes back with the address, another 3 months. That's 6 months. 3 months for it to get to Mrs. O'Shea. She writes back to say, "Yes, you can write my daughter." That's taken a year. He writes his first letter to the woman who becomes my great-great-grandmother. "Dear Maggie O'Shea,